Okay, so this is one of the coolest laptops I've seen this year. It's this 17-inch device, relatively large, but it's a very powerful, comprehensive, creative battle station that allows you to do pretty much everything you could possibly want for a creative workflow. It's got all the good stuff like an RTX 2080, very powerful CPU, but what makes it special, what makes it a very unique product is this hinge. It allows you to rotate the screen in pretty much any way you'd want. You can have it backwards facing the back of the laptop or a client. You can have it facing yourself like normal, or you can have it in this top-down kind of artist mode. And in conjunction with this screen, it also has this really awesome pen. Now, the traditional pen that comes with a lot of laptops out there feel like this afterthought. They don't feel like the product was based around the use of a pen. It's just something they can just add into a product as a value add. But this laptop makes really good use of this pen. The screen itself has this kind of matte texture to it, so when you're drawing on it, it has this paper-like feel. Not that it feels exactly like paper, but it feels a lot better to draw on this screen than your kind of standard glossy finish screen. And it's also a Wacom EMR-based pen, so the stylus itself doesn't have a power source. The digitizer under the screen powers the whole connection, and it's a really good drawing surface. I'm not an artist, but I can immediately tell they put time and effort into making this pen and digitizer interface feel proper. So if you do digital arts and you're working with any kind of pen-based workflow, you'll probably appreciate this. Now, I was recently introduced to this game called Osu, and it's this rhythm game where a lot of the veteran players use tablets to play, and I thought that because this screen and digitizer were so good that it would be awesome for it, and I just wanted to see what it was like. I mean, clearly this is not meant as the world's best Osu machine, but it plays. Your arm just gets super tired moving around, but it's fun. And I also tried StarCraft 2, an RTS game. The biggest problem is you have to right-click so much in that game, and to right-click with this thing, you gotta hold a button down and tap, and it's very ineffective. I felt like I had an APM of like 5. It wasn't good. But the pen itself and the interface with this device is on point. It really is meant for creative work, and for that, it's quite good. I did notice that when I was drawing this Pokemon here, it would occasionally misclick from a palm detection, but the accuracy and the pressure sensitivity felt right. Now, the performance of this machine is really good. It's running an RTX 2080, it's running an 8-core i9 from Intel, it's super powerful. I played some Apex on this thing, great frame rates. It's obviously not a gaming-oriented device. It's got a 60Hz screen, but if you want to play games, you can. Video edits on this machine are great. It has very nice performance, especially for being so quiet. It can't turbo boost a lot. I feel like if they let the users control the fans a little more, you could boost this thing significantly, but it has good performance for the sound level this thing pushes out. Now the keyboard it's something you have to get used to. It's got two kind of issues. For one, the keyboard's in this lowered position, so there's no wrist rest, and the trackpad's on the right, so everything feels a little more cramped. Everything feels kind of unfamiliar when you first use it, but I think most people, if they spend some time with this, will get used to the device. Now the keys themselves, they're a mechanical switch. I don't think they market or advertise this thing as having mechanical switches, but you can distinctly hear like there's an actuation point when you press down on the key. And the layout of the keyboard itself, I think is pretty much standard except for the right shift key. I think it's something that is, not everyone uses that right shift key, but for the people that do, it's really small and in this weird position. The trackpad, it's got this thing you can double tap and you can activate a number pad for the people that want to use number pads, but the inputs on this thing feel a little strange. And the other thing I don't love about this thing is that this machine is expensive. It's clearly geared towards premium kind of professional users, but they do not include a wrist rest with this device. And I feel like for the kind of money that this thing demands, it should include one in the box instead of having the user go out and look for a custom wrist rest that fits this particular device. It should be in the box. The exterior of the device is relatively plain. There's no like super obvious branding on the back of it. It just says like there's nothing. It has a very slightly visible ConceptD that's kind of debossed into the metal there. It's not like super obnoxious branding. All right, let's talk about this flippy screen because this is the coolest part of the device. Now, if you'll notice through this whole video, when I opened and closed this hinge, it had this creak to it. And it's not the rotational hinge, it's the actual hinge at the base of the laptop. And I think it might be unique to my device, but it's something that I feel like I should mention in this video. It doesn't come from the right hinge, only the left hinge. I feel like they over-tightened this unit that I got. And tightness is good, like stiffness on a device like this is great. Like if you're drawing and you want that kind of sturdy surface to work with, it's perfect, but I hope this creak isn't a side effect of that sturdiness. Now, the screen itself has a relatively big bezel. I'll be honest, when I first saw this thing, I was like, why does it have to be so big? Maybe they couldn't source a panel that had this type of color accuracy that they wanted, because the screen is excellent. Like, the panel is bright, it's very color accurate, probably one of the most color accurate screens that I've ever seen. It is geared towards creatives, but it's a really nice screen with a thick bezel. Now, granted, for people that actually use this thing for work, you probably won't notice it, but as a laptop reviewer, I feel like I'm just going to nitpick on that. And there's also a webcam up top. It's a 1080p image, and it's a relatively clean looking picture. There's a spot at the top right of this device where you can place your pen, like it just kind of holds it magnetically. And it's kind of good to have when you have any kind of stylus-based product or stylus-compatible product, to have something like that so you just don't lose it as readily. So the arms of this device, this kind of arm here that holds the flippy hinge for the screen, it's very well made. It feels like you could spin this thing around like hundreds of thousands of times. I feel like Acer did a good job on this thing. There is also this magnetic, like when you push it to the back, it snaps in place. And also you saw there, when you flip it, like when you flip it all the way around, the image rotates automatically for the, depending on the mode that you have the screen on. Okay, just gonna close this off here. The internals are easy to access. You can replace your Wi-Fi card, your drives, your RAM, and the battery down here isn't particularly big, 71 watt hours, and you get an hour and a half of battery life. It's actually shorter than I thought, but considering the size of the screen and the resolution and all the kind of powerful internals that are in here, I guess it's kind of expected, but you won't get great battery life with this machine. Ports, there's a good selection of ports. There's no SD card slot though. There's 3 USB-As, 2 USB-Cs, and an Ethernet jack, and there's 4 speakers that actually sound quite good. They're loud and they're clear. Now, the overall takeaway on this product, it's a super expensive device. It's $5,000. It is obviously not something that everyone's gonna go out and buy. But if you are interested in this device, like let's say you're a creative professional that's considering this thing, make sure that you're using the pen. Like, that is really its biggest strength. I tried to show it in this video, but because I'm not an artist, I can't really flex what this thing's really capable of. But if you're someone that can make use of a pen and the kind of processing and graphical power that this thing's capable of, I think it can be really useful for certain people. But there you have it, the Acer ConceptD 9. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. See you guys next time.